Say it with your whole chest, bitch. As Katie Maloney told Lala Kent, we have Tom Sandoval that is confronting Ariana Madix in the new Vanderpump Rules mid-season trailer. It is looking fiery and feisty. Not only that, but we have Paris Hilton that's calling out Uncle Mauricio for saying, "Stop dragging my family on your new Netflix show." I have Chef Stu, who is here to help me break it all down. I hope you're ready for it because we're going to get into a lot of tea. You're listening to No Filter with Zach Peter, your go-to source for all the latest pop culture and reality TV tea, served fresh all week long. Now, let's dive in. Welcome on in, everybody. Happy Wednesday. Happy hump day. We are live streaming this on YouTube right now. If you're listening to this on Apple Podcasts or Spotify, be sure to leave a nice, positive Apple Podcast review if you've been enjoying the podcast this week. I'm a seasoned podcaster, but he's a little newer to the game. But my God, is he coming in hot? Please welcome. You know him as a chef, and now he's here to tear up the podcasting scene. The host of Don't Let It Stew, Chef Stu O'Keeffe.
Hi, how are you? I am so new, but you've helped me out a lot. You've given me a lot of great advice. So we'll just keep it going and just that's it. Keep being loud, keep talking. That's it.
You were in Entertainment Weekly this morning, I saw, with your Queer Eye team.
I know.
The episode that we did an episode. I was on your podcast and it got picked up on EW.
It just it came out this morning. It's so funny because like I've obviously told a few people about that story and what happened, and I just like I never wanted to talk about it because I was like, I don't want to seem fucking bitter about it. You know what I mean? And like I'm not now. I mean, it's been what 6, 7, 8 years, but like it's a good story, and a lot of people don't know what happened behind the scenes. And so I was like, you know what? Why not just tell it? Because there's so much going on with the cast and crew and behind the scenes and so forth of that show right now.
Listen, I agree. I mean, Queer Eye is popular again in this moment. I think with all the stories about like Jonathan Van Ness, and then we have Jeremiah Brent that's now replacing Bobby Burke because Bobby Burke is exiting. You need to get one of them on your podcast. That's gonna really bring some good some good interest.
I think I could get Bobby. Yeah, Bobby. I love Bobby, and Karamo is great too. I text with Karamo a lot as well. So maybe one or two.
Bobby will give you some tea.
Yeah, it seems so. Yeah, maybe.
So, well, actually, I want people to listen to your episode to get the full story. But basically, you were one of the original.
Correct.
In the Netflix reboot, you were one of the original Fab Five.
Yeah,
and then ultimately got replaced, got shooted and booted.
Yeah. I was buying my plane ticket, honey.
That is wild. But guys, go listen to Don't Let It Stew. He tells the full story. You'll find out who replaced him and what his experience was like working with Jonathan Van Ness. Do you feel like the heat that he's getting in the press is a little unfair?
No, because I actually kind of did like a little deep dive kind of after our podcast and we had the conversation, or after my podcast and we had the conversation. I kept looking at different things on TikTok, and he like any bit of criticism, it seems like he goes off the handle. And then I had somebody text me this morning that worked with him saying like I can confirm like he's kind of like a bit like mentally off the wall, like kind of. So I was like,
I mean, given some of his like backstory, I'm not surprised by that. I mean, listen, you know, I can pop off on a bitch, but I don't feel like I have a rage issue.
Here's the thing, like with this, like, and it's when I hear these stories of behind the scenes, and I've seen a few like reality people and stuff happen. I've known one or two of them as well. Like, I just would be so fucking thankful that like I'm on a show, I'm making great money, I have endorsements coming in, I have cookbooks, more cookbooks coming out, bestsellers, etc., etc., etc. Like, he has a shampoo line or a hair line of stuff. Like, he has dog stuff with Anthony. Like shut up, turn up, do the job, and go home. Like, that's how I see about it. Yeah. Crazy.
I agree, but I think sometimes ego gets you. It's funny. I saw this quote this morning about how like when it takes you a long time to build something or to build like a sustainable name for yourself, you build confidence, but when you have that fast growth, when you kind of peak to the top really quickly, it builds your ego. And I think a lot of people end up building their ego very quickly. And we were just having this conversation earlier via text about this potential TikTok ban.
Yeah.
And I was like, well, guess what? And now all the losers that, you know, built a name for themselves on TikTok and think that they're hot shit, now they're about to go away. Well, mainly because I was having a conversation with somebody. Yeah, there was this like dispute that we had where somebody copied my logo and the name of my show, and essentially the entire concept of my podcast. I'm actually gonna, I don't know if you have your phone handy, but I'll send it to you. I don't want to post it publicly, but I'll send it to you, and then you tell me if you think that these are similar, from like down to like the exact logo. And this person's defense was like, oh, well, you know, I have a brand on TikTok that I've built, and you know, people on TikTok know that I have no filter. And I was like, good for you. You have a brand on TikTok. I have a brand on YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, X, formerly Twitter. I have a podcast that's a top charting podcast week that I've had for 9 fucking years. Tell me that doesn't look like a direct ripoff.
I mean, here's the thing. Like the hashtag it's like hashtag no filter with this person's name. So Zack Peter, it's this person's name, and then every Wednesday, whatever. And then like the girl is holding a fucking espresso martini, and Zack has a martini in his photograph. I mean, that's ridiculous. Like have a glass of wine.
The logo is exactly the same, just in pink.
Yeah.
It's literally like almost the same identical text, the same format. It's in a box logo. I was just like, literally, like my head was spinning.
Yours is more creative and like much nicer though.
Well, mine was original.
Like it looks like she threw this up like overnight.
But like she was really hardcore, like defending the fact that like.
Did you reach out to her?
I told my team I wasn't going to talk about this, and they're like, "Don't address it, don't give her attention." But we're not saying her name.
You're not saying anything, yeah.
And listen, we worked it out. We settled it and worked it out yesterday because I was like, "This is not okay."
Sure, it's not.
And so there was some tweaking that needed to be done on the other end. But but the argument was that like, oh well, I'm on TikTok and people know that I have no filter on TikTok. I'm like, great, my handles and my names on all social platforms. Have the actual name no filter in them. Like it's
have
great
it as a subtitle, like I'm no filter in everything I talk about, or whatever it is, you know, like
but like down to the wording and the description, the way that it was promoted. Like I have my intro where you see me holding a mug.
It's exactly the same. Yeah.
And this person also was promoting it with a mug and sipping tea about celebrities. And I was doing Vanderpump Rules recaps and Love is Blind recaps. And I was just like, are you fucking kidding me?
It's like hashtag no filter with Chef Stu. And like I have like a knife.
It was wild to me. And I was like, you realize like this is essentially a ripoff. And they're like, well, that's not, you know, like there can be multiple people that share the name No Filter. Like you don't own the name No Filter. I'm like, it's not about the name. It's about every fucking detail about your podcast. It's not even the name. I don't mind if you use No Filter in your name, but my God, like it's literally, you're in the same category. Like it's insane. Even the logos are exactly the same. Just
it is the way she has it. The way she has it done, it is exactly the same, just a different color. Yeah, for sure.
And the martini, it was wild. But anyway, so my point is, it's like when you sent me that, my shady ass brain was like, oh, guess her TikTok brand of having no filter is about to go under if TikTok gets banned.
That's crazy. Like so, like what they have to force this Chinese owner to sell it to what, an American or like some other country for it to be allowed now in the States. I have to look more into it, but. Yeah.
I don't. Do we really think that TikTok is about to be banned? I mean, listen, we saw Vine go under. Vine was very popular for a hot minute and it went under, which is why I always tell people that want to enter the game. I'm like, make sure you're like sprinkling yourself all over and building up all of your platforms, putting different types of content. Like even with me, I have the long form content on the podcast, but then I also do like Instagram reels and TikToks that are the short form content that it's like, you have to make sure you're constantly, you know, putting stuff out there, you know, to keep your name and your brand visible across the board. You know, when you put all your eggs in one basket, sure, you can build up your strongest basket, but when you put them all in one basket, TikTok can get banned tomorrow, and then your no filter brand goes under.
This actually happened before. I think it happened like after like the pandemic or something like that, and everybody hit peaks on TikTok for the pandemic and stuff, which is good for them. But then there was like a point where it could have went away, and I just remember so many creators going on there like literally fucking bawling, crying, like it's been a nice run, everybody. Thanks. I'm like, girl, like go to other platforms, as you said,
Keep
like
it
start
going.
building
Keep
it.
it
Yeah,
building. Yeah. I mean, listen, the game is sustainability. Same thing with podcasts. A lot of people started podcasts in 2020, and where are they now?
yeah, yeah.
Listen, and
I
I
mean,
support everybody joining the game, but don't think that it's that easy. And even
it's
if you
not
get
easy, and
success,
like it's
it
not
comes with
easy.
ebbs and
Yeah,
flows. I mean, listen, I've had the podcast for 9 years. I probably bombed hard for the first 4, maybe 5 years. And even then, some years and some months were really good and some were not. I mean, the place that we're in now is obviously, I'm very proud of what I've built, but like it
yeah.
took a long time to get here. And even then, it's about sustainability and you still have waves that you have to
It's
ride.
always the long game. And like that's the thing as well. Like I've been doing like the chef thing, TV thing. I've had like TV shows that flopped. I've had another TV show gone 1 season, another 2 seasons gone away. Like it's just, it's hit and miss. And it's like, but in the meantime, I'm gonna build up my reels, do whatever. And it's my podcast. I wouldn't have never I always had the name like a year ago. My friend was like, this would be your name. It's so good. And then like Heard at Media approached me and I was like, okay, now I can do it because I'm not doing all that editing, posting, you know what I mean? I've like my friend Emily's helping me a lot with like the writing and stuff of like descriptions and stuff. So I'm getting there, you know what I mean? But it's a lot of fun. But a lot of the heavy work, Heard at Media is doing that, which is like really nice for me. I wouldn't have the time otherwise.
Yeah, I mean, listen, it's not easy. And your new show, it's called Don't Let It Stew, and it's not just about cooking, right? Because your background and people know you for your cooking and know you as a chef, but you're covering a range of topics.
Yeah, and it's like it was so fun. Like even Heather McDonald used to say to me, she's like, "You need to do more kind of funny stuff." Like I commented on some of those cooking videos, like on people were like, "We need to hear more of your funniness." And even when I did the like Jeff Lewis after show, people liked me on that too. And so I was like, "Okay, well, this is a good little opportunity. Like, let's go for it. Let's do it."
Yeah. Brian said, "I just announced that I'm opening a sandwich shop called Something About Him." Here's the funny thing, Brian. That would actually be original because at least you changed her to him. Okay, so let's talk Vanderpump Rules because we got the mid-season trailer, which I'm sure you've seen it. And it actually looks like the season of Vanderpump Rules is going to be picking up. I don't think it's a bad season. I've been a hard subscriber of Vanderpump Rules since season 1. I've always loved it. I think season 8 was probably like one of their weakest seasons, and that's when they brought in all of the new cast members. And that was, I think, one of my least favorite seasons. But I don't think this season is bad. I just think people are coming off of the Scandoval of it all, and they have such high expectations. Where I'm just like, listen, this is what it is.
It's I've been finding the last few episodes, like I'm kind of watching, I'm kind of on my phone a bit, I'm kind of peeking back and forth, and I'm kind of like, when's it going to start picking up? But that trailer, it's like a lot of action, a lot of like, it looks more exciting for sure.
Yeah, we also see this confrontation between Tom. Well, we see 2 confrontations between Tom and Ariana. One is on the beach when the cast is all out together. And then in the original trailer, we see James putting a line in the sand. He's like, this side is Tom's side and this side's Ariana's side. And then here we see Tom trying to talk to Ariana and she's like, don't speak to me. Don't speak to me. And he's just like, well, you're speaking to me.
It's like,
do you think that her don't speak to me rule, I mean, when you're on a reality show, do you think that that's feasible and realistic? We're seeing people like Sheena now being put in the middle, and people are really dragging Sheena, and I like leave Sheena Shea alone.
Yeah, I agree. And it's just like, it is hard. Like it's kind of like, again, they're all on a show. He made a mistake, big mistake he made for sure, but you can't just like for the rest of his life tear him down for the rest of his life. Life goes on, people move on, you forgive. You don't have to forget, but you can forgive, and you're doing a show and try and find a way of getting past it and just being amicable at least. Yeah.
So we see this scene with them on the beach, right? But then
Mhm.
towards the end of the trailer, we see this scene where Tom tries to approach Ariana. She walks away.
Yes.
She starts yelling at producers, which I remember hearing about that night. I
Yeah.
was actually invited to that finale party. I didn't end up going at the last minute. I was it was up in San Francisco, and I had just come off like 2 other trips, and I was like, I need to take the weekend off. But I remember hearing about a lot of things from that party, and one of them was that Ariana like freaked out when there was
Yeah.
about to be a confrontation with Tom Sandoval. But in that finale party, we see Tom not only try to have a conversation with Ariana, but we see him approach her new boyfriend Dan and like walk up and
Yeah.
introduce himself to Dan. So given that we've seen Ariana not be very welcoming and embracing of Tom in the past, do you think that this was maybe the right time for him to go up and introduce himself to Dan?
No, I mean, like, just leave it alone. I mean, do you think it's kind of like producers be like, "Hey, go up and like say hi to the boyfriend or what?" Like, I don't know, but it's like that had to be done. Like, no matter what, like that had to like the effort needed to be done from Tom to go up to Ariana and like see could
Yeah.
we get this kind of movement of the two of them talking, like for sure. Um, yeah. I,
Do you think she should just kind of be like, all right, let me try to coexist with this person in a way
yes.
that copacetic and in a way that's like peaceful where we don't have this contention towards each other?
Yeah. I just think like I mean, like what he did is so bad. It's like, how does she like forgive him? Does she get like just do like the normal kind of walk and talk? I mean, but like, don't talk to me, don't talk to me. I mean, I just think there could be a small, like, just kind of bit, like, just get along because it's
Yeah.
not as if like Raquel is there in the episode or in the show anymore. So it's just the two of them now.
Are you
I don't
sad
know.
that Raquel is gone?
I think it would have made great TV if she came back. And like I heard that I was talking to my friend last night. Was it true that like Vanderpump was really she was like, "Oh, I was there for Raquel and calling her," but really she was calling her to try and get her back on the show and trying to make it about, "Are you okay?" and stuff. Do you want to come back on?
I actually don't think it would have been that interesting if they brought back Raquel.
Really?
Look at all of Raquel's fucking seasons prior. When has she ever been interesting? Aside from accidentally falling on Tom's dick for 7 months, when has she ever been interesting on this show?
Yeah,
Ever.
I told you on my podcast yesterday. I started watching it for the Sandoval thing. That's when I started
Yes,
watching Vanderpump.
for the scandal of it all.
But
Exactly.
I
She made a mistake. She accidentally fell on Sandoval's dick for 7 months and is now suing Ariana. Yeah, she's a real more, fucking moron, really. But
oh
like
God.
I don't think it would like look at any conflict that she's ever had on the show in the past. When it's been with Katie, when it's been with Lala, when it's been with Ariana,
Is it
she's like a
just very
little
blah? Is
chihuahua.
it? Yeah.
Yeah, she's a little chihuahua and she's shaking in the corner and she doesn't really know what to say and she
I
can't like
remember a few of the scenes with like Lala outside the club or outside. Yeah, it wasn't very exciting. You're right. You're
Bambi-eyed
right.
bitch. Yeah, it's like she can't step to these ladies. So it's just like I mean, ladies is a term, but like she can't step to them because it's just like they would eat her alive, and then all it would become. Then the audience would be like, "Oh my god, look at their bullying Raquel. She's so
For
innocent.
sure.
She's not
Yeah.
innocent."
She's not innocent. No, she knew exactly what she was doing. Like both of them
Yeah.
did. It's like, yeah.
And now her whole narrative is that, Tom was an older man and he manipulated her because she was going through a breakup and she was in a vulnerable state. And I'm just like, come on.
That's no. And
I mean,
he needs to buck up too and like take accountability and
yeah.
stop kind of make fucking excuses too. Like he's
Here's the
trying like
thing.
it's
All
like
of our anger would be directed towards him if Raquel would stop inserting herself into the media and the press
mhm,
with all of this other dumb shit. All
yeah.
of our we should be holding him more accountable, but he kind of gets to skirt under, Raquel and her dumbass actions.
I mean, Katie was pissed last night. Katie was like, she's never gonna get along with him. Like she's never gonna forgive him. She's
No.
never wants any part of him.
What was interesting though was seeing the pain in, why she doesn't want to talk about him
Uh-huh.
or forgive him, and she's like, he interfered with my marriage and like
Yeah,
he put things in my husband's head, in my
for
ex-husband's
sure.
head
Yeah,
about me and like influenced him in that way. I mean, I think that's a lot of pressure to put on Sandoval and not enough pressure on Schwartz, who was her actual husband and should have just bucked up. But I understand, her pain for sure.
yeah. Can you clear up something for me on
Yeah.
the mid-season trailer? Sheena, like with their like, well, first of all, Sheena and Brock. What does Sheena say to Brock? Like, I don't know if we'll ever be together. I can't see us being together forever. And then there was another scene where like she was kind of crying, going like, whether if this can happen to Ariana, like it could happen to me because what
Yeah.
Brock kissed somebody. Like I'm just kind of confused by this whole
No,
part.
no, no. So, I mean, one, I always like to take the trailers with a grain of salt because
Yeah,
sometimes they edit things out of context
sure.
to make it look like it's something else. We still haven't even gotten the Schwartz kiss stuff. I'm assuming that's coming up.
Yeah,
We'll see what that brings. But it seems like Sheena and Brock are having some sort of issues about the future of their relationship. But the part about Lala and her crying about not trusting, it looked like she was getting upset with Tom, and she was telling Sandoval, she was like, I can't trust my husband anymore because I'm worried that she's like, I start thinking like, will Brock cheat on me with Lala
Sheena
the
said
same
this.
way? Yes. She
Correct.
was
Okay.
worried that because Lala's so close to her, she's like,
Yes.
that her trust issues have been violated because of Sandoval. She's like, you
Sandoval.
did that.
She's like, you
You
did that.
need to
Yeah.
not trust people because you and Raquel went and did what you did behind Ariana's back, and now it makes me afraid that that could happen to me.
Yeah. Yeah. Wow. That's crazy.
Which interesting. And then what do you think of Joe, Schwartz's little friend?
I don't know. I don't really think about her. I'm
Weird.
just, she's like there. It's just
Weird.
like, it's like what, like shit or get off the pot. Like what's happening?
And
It's
then
like,
they
are they
gave her a
together or not?
confession.
Yeah.
They gave her a confessional and didn't even brush her hair. I was like, what the fuck is this? It's like, can we not invest $200 in a glam budget so that somebody could just brush her hair?
It's just
A
like,
little dry shampoo will go a long way.
it's like she's hanging out the back door, like sitting in the chair for a second.
Yeah. Happiness King says Joe reads to me as an adult acting like a teenager, which immature boys must love. I don't know, never been one. So here's the thing. I think that like with Joe, her and Schwartz definitely seem to be
There's
um
something.
there's something but they're on the same maturity, like they're on the same level. Like
Yeah.
Schwartz is not really advanced past high school, and neither has Joe. So I think they would actually work out. Mallory says she is a hairdresser. She can brush her own hair. Well, that's even worse. I forgot that she was a hairdresser. Is she the one that dyed or bleached his hair blonde? Because that was.
Oh, I don't know. Did she?
No, I don't think it was her. I hope not. If so, then that's another reason to get rid of her. But it's interesting that like Katie eats her up too, it looks like at the finale, because she wants to come up and like have peace with Katie, and Katie's like, I don't want to have peace with you. Go away.
Yeah. Yeah. Ugh, poor Katie.
Yeah. Well, listen, I actually feel bad for Katie. Like Katie's
Yeah.
been, even though she irritates me a lot of the time, and she does have a very like hard energy.
Yeah.
I do kind of feel bad for her because it's like she went through a lot with Schwartz. I loved, what was it, last week or the week before, when Schwartz was a little lit and he was having a conversation with Brock, who was very lit, and he was just kind of letting his guard down and be like, I love Katie because, she chose me and she loved me when I had nothing. And that really hit for me because he's like, at the beginning, he's like, I had nothing to offer her. And yet she continued to choose me and be with me. And even when she was out trying to make things happen for herself, she stood by me when I was building Tom Tom, and then when I was building Schwartz
Yeah.
and Sandy's, like she stood by me through everything. And that's, I think, a real testament is when somebody doesn't have, the on paper metrics of what, you're looking, money, status,
Yeah.
class, the job, whatever looks good on paper. When people don't have those things, but like you still love them for who they are at their core, I think that, that to me is true love.
Yeah, it is. It's like she did. She supported him through all that, and I just feel like it comes a point like where it's like enough is enough. It's like, what about me? And then you start to kind of lose yourself a bit. I feel like,
Yeah.
and she probably felt she's like, fuck, like I'm putting all my attention on him. What about me? You can only do it for so long. You can't.
Yeah. Do you think the sandwich shop is ever going to open?
I literally drive by it like almost every day just to kind of see, is it open?
I mean, there's been no movement on
I know.
that.
And I know that girl Penny that helped them, come up with the sandwiches and stuff that was on the show. Like I've worked with her before. I don't like, they say it's permits and all that kind of stuff. I mean, I don't know. I mean, West Hollywood is a demon when it comes to that stuff. It is.
It is. And listen, even when like Lisa Vanderpump was opening Pump, like that was a long journey. That took a long time, you
Yeah.
know?
Yeah.
And they just kind of, I mean, it's only been what, about a year that they've really started investing in this project. I mean, a year is, I mean, we're kind of at, it's like time to shit or get off the pot at this point.
Yeah.
But we'll see. I wouldn't mind.
Yeah. I wouldn't either. I mean,
Do you like the name Something About Her?
yeah, until I started calling the Amazon movie like anything but you, calling it Something About Her. Like, I mean, it's just like, but yes, I do like the name, and I think it's super cute. I love the design. I think it's kind of cozy inside, and it's very like English tea and stuff like that. So as long as the sandwiches are good, yeah.
I mean, they should probably open. Someone just recommended that they open up an online business in the meantime. They should open up like a food truck pop up in the meantime.
Yeah, they should do something. It's like, because they're just burning money on that rent. I'm sure it's like, how much is rent for that? I'm sure it's between
I mean, in West
six and
Hollywood, that's
six
got to
and eight.
be
I'd say it's
and
between 6 and 8 grand a month easily for Robertson.
I would say even more than that. I
Yeah,
would not
maybe
think
could be like
6 is a
9,
little
10.
low. Yeah,
Maybe like
I
9,
would say
10
at
then.
least a
Yeah.
minimum of 8. Yeah,
Yeah.
like minimum 8 for that location.
Oof. Jesus. Do you want to stay on that show?
Mm. If
Hmm.
it continues to go, a lot of people think it might not come back. I think it'll come back for
Oh, it
another
will.
season,
They'll
only
keep
because the
watching.
ratings are so good. You know, everyone's like, listen, they'll find a way to milk out another season with the ratings being so high.
Yeah.
Um, like because it's still one of the best performing shows on Bravo. They're still pulling in people. Like they started at 1 million and now they've dropped to 900,000. One,
That's
that's
still
standard, and
high.
two, that's still high.
It's great
And
because
their
the housewives
demo,
get like around there, like 8,
yeah,
9, 1.
the
Yeah.
only one that's beating them is Beverly Hills, Real Houses of Beverly Hills, that gets, you know, a solid 1 mil per week. The other ones are falling short of that. Miami's like at what, 400,000 per
Yeah.
week. Potomac's barely breaking
They're not getting rid of
800,000
that
per
show.
week.
There's no way. It's all about the
They're not
ratings at
getting
the
rid of
end
it.
of the
Yeah,
day.
not
Yeah.
with the ratings being where they're at. Creatively, they may have to figure out a way to restructure the cast, but they're
Yeah.
not going to get rid of it at this point.
No,
It's
not at all.
performing too well. But that said, let's move on to Beverly Hills. We have the new season of Buying Beverly Hills that drops this month. Mauricio's new show, season 2, is coming, and there have been a
Okay.
lot of clips, a lot of them that have showed like insight into his marriage with Kyle Richards, which a lot of people are not happy about. So like, why did they not show it on Beverly Hills, and why are they showing it on? Why didn't they show it on Real Houses of Beverly Hills?
Sure.
Why are they showing it on Buying Beverly Hills? I think it's Kyle's choice was to not share as much about their
Mhm.
relationship because their separation had not been made public yet, right? While
Yeah.
they filmed the show, it was still all kind of private. Whereas I think when they were filming
Which
Buying Beverly Hills,
makes
cameras were
sense.
following more of the fallout from their separation after it broke in the press. Like cameras kept following that. Whereas in
Sometimes
Beverly Hills, gave us a little bit in the finale.
Sometimes when I see clips, I don't even know if it's like Beverly Hills or the Netflix show. Like I don't know which one I'm watching. It's
Yeah.
like,
So there's a new clip that dropped this week
yeah.
where Mauricio talks about Hilton and Highland. And which is interesting because he talks about this in his book that came out last April, I believe. And he kind of talks about the fallout because he obviously was a realtor at Hilton and Highland. And then he retells this story on Netflix. And basically, I mean, he in his confessional says, like, I don't want to speak poorly of Hilton and Highland, like that's
Yeah.
still family, whatever. But he's like, but I was done dirty by Hilton and Highland, and Kyle knew that, and Kyle supported me through that. And you know, there was a fallout with the family with Rick and Kathy, and they weren't happy, and Kyle took the brunt of it. And so he's kind of rehashing this and telling this story to the other guys, which let's be honest, Mauricio's a great reality star. He's just putting it all on the
It was great.
table. He's
And
not hiding anything.
I didn't know the full story of exactly like what happened. Obviously, I didn't read his book, but I was like, okay, cool. Like that's his story. That's part of his life. He's telling it, and he wasn't saying it in a really like derogatory way at all. He was just like, this happened and that happened, and I went out on my own because I wasn't getting a cut of like what I was bringing in, or like
Yeah,
in a bigger scale.
He wanted to be more a part of the company. He wanted to become a partner. Like he had bigger aspirations growing within the company, and they weren't willing
Mhm.
to give him that. So he was like, you know what? I dipped out and I bounced. I asked you for what I wanted. I told you what I thought I deserved. If you weren't able to bring that, I left and did my own thing.
Nothing
And
wrong
they
with
were
that.
not happy about that. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think he said they were unhappy with the fact that he didn't really tell them that he was leaving. He kind of just jumped ship. But listen, he knew his worth, right? And he said he was bringing in 19% of the business. Like if you're pulling in 90% of the revenue there, that's big.
It's a bad decision. I mean, I guess they probably called his bluff and were like, he's not going to leave.
I think they called his bluff. They didn't think he was going to leave because it's a family business and he wouldn't do anything to disrupt the family. Yeah. And he was like, no, I know my worth. Joe says if he was bringing in 20% of the business and he was not promoted as partner, I would do the same thing as what Mauricio did. But so now we're talking about this because Paris Hilton has joined the group chat and Paris is popping off and she commented. And Paris said, which is real rich coming from her, who's a real rich bitch. Paris Hilton says, my father is a consummate gentleman and has always taken the higher road. He would never speak negatively about his family, especially in the press. Frankly, we are all sick of him using the Hilton name every chance he gets to plug his lame show. It is enough already.
The company is called Hilton and Highland. Like, what's he going to say? I was with this company, Highland. Like,
well, not only like the company is called Hilton and Highland. He did work for them. This is his experience. He's allowed to share his experience. Number one. But I think that this is real rich coming from Paris Hilton, who leaves her mom to hang out dry every season on Paris in Love. The way she drags Kathy and makes Kathy look like a monster. Season 1 was all about how her documentary was all about how Kathy locked her away in Provo.
I remember that. Yeah.
And then we get into season 1 and Kathy's trying so hard to manage the wedding and it's too much for Paris because it's Paris's wedding, not Kathy's wedding. And then we get into season 2 and she really blindsides her mom with the grandchild on camera, and then just gets into like her issues with her mother on camera. And you can just tell Kathy was not briefed on a lot of these scenes or the questions that she's being asked in her confessionals. You can tell she's very caught off guard by a lot of it.
Okay.
I'm like, it's really rich that Paris is upset with Mauricio dragging her family and using the Hilton name when Paris is essentially doing the same thing with Paris.
Did he say anything about Rick? Did he say anything like negatively about Rick, or just said, "Oh, he didn't want to agree to those terms, and so I left"?
That was essentially what he said. Yeah, no, that's essentially what he said. He didn't say anything
bad.
negative, other than I think the one part that I think could come across as negative is that the family turned on Kyle as a result of it, and Kyle took the brunt of it because she was kind of stuck in the middle, and so they probably didn't love that, he was basically saying like, no, they were mean to my wife as a result of what I did, but Kyle was my wife, she loved me and she supported me. Yeah. And that is shitty, right? Mm-hmm. But like, that's what they do. And we've seen that. That's not anything new. We've seen them do that on Real Housewives of Beverly Hills. We've seen the way Kathy ices out Kyle or ices out, the sister dynamics has always been,
Kathy terrifies me. Just terrifies me.
Yeah. Look, at Paris didn't even tell her mom she was having a baby until after both her children were born. Exactly. And then she did
probably a smart move.
She did it by blindsiding her on camera. That it's just like, I get like Paris, like, come on, you're one to speak. And not only that, but like, especially, I don't know, have you read House of Hilton?
I've not.
Probably not. Nobody's really read it. It's an old book, but it basically goes into the history of the Hilton family, and it talks
Heather
about.
McDonald has read it. She's told me about. She's read it. It's crazy. Yeah.
So juicy. So I mean, when you hear about Kathy, Kim, and Kyle's mom, wild. Big Kathy was wild.
Yeah.
But I covered the book in our book club here, and in it talks a lot about how Kathy and Rick would often use the Hilton name to kind of push their weight around. And I mean, again, these are all allegations made in the book, but it talks about how like they would even try to go to Hilton hotels and would want to stay there for free. But like the grandfather that started the Hilton hotels was very much like against that. He's like, no, none of my family or friends can come in here and go for free. Like this is, I built this, and but Kathy and Rick would always try to ride the coattails based off of, what's alleged in the book, but they would try to ride off the coattails of the Hilton name. So again, it's rich that they would, that Paris would accuse Mauricio of the things that her and her own family have done repeatedly,
For sure. Yeah. It's like their hands are definitely not clean. And it's like
they just don't like when other people do it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Rebecca says, let me tell you something about my family.
I can do it, but you can't do
it. Which is true. I mean, I agree. But yeah, I think Paris can sit this one out. I think.
Yeah, I think so too. I agree.
We had a new photo that shows Alexis Bellino filming in Sonoma County with, it looks like, Tamra and Heather Dubrow. So it looks like Alexis is becoming a lot more part of the cast this season than we expected. And
Is she a friend of, or is she not? Did she actually get cast as a
I
person?
don't believe she's an orange holder,
Okay,
but
orange holder.
we
Thank
have
you.
seen in the past friends of can get promoted. That's how Sutton became a full-time housewife. That's how Sutton got her diamond, was by going after Erica. But like you can see that like when a housewife causes enough conflict or becomes embedded in enough of the storyline, they can earn their full-time spot. So I don't know if Alexis is aiming for a full-time spot. I don't know how much potential, but I mean, she seems to be around a lot. We also saw like Taylor Armstrong last season, who was at every single event and cast trip, and she didn't get an orange.
I'm sad about that. I like her.
Are you excited for the return of Alexis Bellino?
I mean, I think it's going to be like, I don't know. I just think about Shannon on this. Like, it's going to be hard for her, I guess, when she's in scenes and so forth. Because like Shannon loved John so much, you know what I mean? And so, I just the whole thing. It's like so fucking in your face. It's just like, what do? You just have to just move on and get over it. It's like it's insane.
It's so messy.
Yeah.
And the fact that Shannon has to face this and face Alexis, and the fact that Alexis and John are so flashy with their relationship. Do you believe that Alexis and John are really into each other?
I do. Because I saw a little interview with them on the DirecTV red carpet, like that Oscar event that they had. And they were she pretty much said like they're going to get engaged. Like she's like, yeah, pretty much, like, or maybe, or whatever, like when they were talking. I think they're very much in love, and he was just like, I can't be without this woman, and like it's very like vocal.
Yeah,
And I
well,
don't think
he got her that Von Queef ring.
Oh, okay, I didn't know
Remember the
that.
promise ring? Yeah.
Yeah. So, oh, it just must be hard for Shannon to watch it all unfold. I don't know, but maybe she's good now. Maybe she's just like, you know what, I'm over it. Happy for them. Who knows?
Yeah. Well, so there was a photo that came out about Shannon the other day. She was at a mall, I believe in Orange or Newport Beach. She was at one of the malls. She was at a bar and she was drinking. Someone took a photo of her. She was drinking by herself at a mall bar. And people were saying that she was on the phone ranting about Alexis. So it seems like she might not be over this after all.
No, okay. I mean,
seems like it's affecting her pretty much because she was like kind of disheveled, no makeup, drinking at the bar.
yeah.
I'm like, oh, she's about to rip through the streets of Newport Beach.
No. Oh God. Oh my God. What a time. I mean, I'm really looking forward to the season, though. I can tell you that.
I am too. And I think, well, people have also said there have been rumors that Vicky's been filming quite a bit since the beginning as well. So it looks like we have Vicky and we have Alex. Listen, Vicky, Alexis, Tamra, Heather, Shannon. I mean, even Gina and Emily at this point have been around this group long enough that they kind of have been embedded in it reluctantly, begrudgingly. But like this cast is good. They all have history. They've known each other for so long that I'm looking forward to it. Megan asks if you would ever go on The Traitors. Did you watch this most recent season
of Traitors? I've never watched it.
What?
Listen, I'll go on any show. Throw me a show, I'll go on it. Like, what is it kind of like? Is it kind of like a Big Brother thing? You do kind of things and you get voted out, like that idea, but it's in Scotland.
Yeah.
Okay. And it's medieval times and all that kind of stuff. Yeah, I'd do it. Of course.
Listen, I would love to do The Traitors. My mother said I would lose if I joined the. So the whole point of Traitors is. Well, no. So the whole point of Traitors is there's majority of the people in the castle are called the faithful, and then certain people secretly are selected as the traitors. And so the traitors in the castle, there's usually 2 to 3 of them. And the whole point is there's a banishment. There's an elimination after every episode where the whole group has to try to figure out who they think the traitors are and vote them out of the game. Nice. And so if you vote out the traitors, great. Because at the end of the game, whoever's left wins the pot of money. You split it amongst whatever faithful are left.
How much money can they win?
I think like a few $100,000.
Oh, nice. Okay.
But when you're splitting it amongst people, it's not as, great. But
so is there like 2 winners at the end? Because I remember like someone said like MJ got kicked out.
That's what I'm trying to explain to you.
I'm so sorry.
So at the end of the game, whatever faithful are left in the game get to split whatever money is left.
Got
But
you.
if there's a traitor that was able to make it all the way to the end and you didn't catch on the fact that they're a traitor, then at the end of the game, that traitor wins all the money. So the whole
Oh,
point is you want to stay in the game and be a traitor and not get caught and just pretend like you're one of the faithful so that when you get to the end, you win the prize and nobody ever suspected that you were secretly a traitor.
that's like,
So it's a lot. But so my point is usually the people that are the most vocal in the game put a target on their back, and they're usually the ones that get voted out the
yeah,
quickest. So my mother's like, you would lose the game because your big mouth would get you into trouble. She's like, whether you were a traitor or a
totally.
faithful, you would get yourself booted. That's how Larsa got booted out. That's how Tamara got booted. That's how Brandy Glanville got booted out. Like
Yeah.
the ones that have the biggest mouths and the ones that are like the most vocal in the game, people are like, oh, well, you're putting a target on your back because you're being too suspicious or whatever.
So there was 2 left at the very end. I just know, like, MJ was like the 3rd left. She got voted out, and then there was like 2,
So in
4.
this last season, in season 2, there were 4 left in the game, and one of them was a traitor, and that was Kate Chastain. So when
Got
you
it.
get to the final ceremony, you can either say, okay, we believe we're all faithfuls, we'll all split the money, or you can say, no, we think there's another traitor, we're gonna vote again until we vote out all of the traitors. And so originally, they caught that Kate was the traitor and they voted her out. So then there were
Great.
3 faithful left. It was CT from the challenge, it was Trishelle from the challenge, and it was MJ. Those are the final 3. They were all faithful, right? And then at the end, CT and Trishelle, who obviously have history together, they're like, nope, we're gonna vote one more person out. And MJ was like, what the fuck? And they voted out MJ, who was very obviously a faithful, but it looked like they were voting her out so that they could just split the money together, the 2 of them,
Yeah.
rather than allow MJ to get a cut. And MJ was so pissed. She was so mad. She blocked them on Instagram. And then at the reunion, they're like, why would you block us? And she's like, why wouldn't I block you? Like, you guys fucked me over. I played the game. I made it to the end. You knew I was a faithful, but for whatever reason, you guys had an alliance with each other. So you voted me out when you knew that I wasn't a traitor.
I'm sorry. Like, I think it's a smart move because, like, you get more money.
It is smart, but it was fucked up for MJ because everyone watching the show was like, this is it. These are the final 3. They're going to win. And the next thing you know it, they're like, nope, we're going to vote out MJ. And it was like,
that's a
MJ's
great
face
twist,
was
though.
like, it was a great twist because she was shocked. She was just like, what the fuck? She's like, I thought we were all in this together. And
well,
it was
okay. Could you say like the 2 of them voted her because they didn't like her just as a person? Or do you think it really was about the money?
I think it was about like the money, and I think they just had like a loyalty to each other. I think Trishelle and CT are like, we're going to the end with each other, and if we can cut one more person out of the deal, why not?
To get more money, why not? Yeah.
I mean, the game is called The Traitors, and even when you're a faithful, you can still be a traitor.
Yeah.
But even at the reunion, like MJ came in so hard and they're like, why are you so bitter? And I was like, you know what? I would be bitter too. If I made it to the final 3 and I was like, guys, we won this. And then they turned on me, I would be fucking pissed.
But she would have done the same thing if she had like another Shaw's person on there or something like that. For sure.
Yeah. I'm sure had the tables been turned, you know, but I'm saying I validate MJ being bitter at the reunion because I would be just as pissed. Could you imagine?
It's totally
You're like,
valid.
I left my man and my kid at home to play this game. I made it all the way to the end, and then you vote me out at the last second. Like that was
just
bullshit.
go home with like no money. It's like so annoying.
I would be pissed.
Oh, that's good. Okay, I'll definitely watch next season now because I like that you give me a nice recap there. Okay, great.
Christina wants to know: are you dating anyone new right now? Are you single?
Like loosely, like somebody in New York I'm going to see at the end of the month that I've already posted about him on my Instagram. Like I hung out with him a few weeks ago in New York too. He's fun. Sure. I would be a
everyone's
faithful.
saying that you would be a faithful. You wouldn't be a traitor.
No, I would be a faithful. I wouldn't be able to lie. Like I wouldn't be able to be a traitor and like I'd have to be a faithful.
Oh, I would love to be a traitor. I would be, well, I don't know if I would be a good traitor, but I would love to be a traitor. Joe says I would be the first one banished on the traitors. At least a few of them would just clock traitor vibes. I don't think I give traitor vibes.
I don't know. I think you just have to go in there and just like be really fucking just calm at the very beginning. just like
That's
go in.
that's the best way to play the game is you have to not ruffle feathers. You have to not engage. You kind of just have to sit back, take it all in, and just like, kind of casually, allude to thinking it's one person or another person. Like, I don't
Now I
know.
want to watch it. Now I'm going to wait for the new season because obviously I know what happens.
Yeah,
but
now you know what happens in season 2. Or you can watch season 1. Season 1's not bad. Season 1 was also a great ending as well.
Okay.
Not as much of a like shocker as season 2. Season 2 just like took everybody by surprise. Megan said I would be funny because I would struggle to pretend to like everybody. That's the hard part is when you're in the game, you have to like be friends with everyone and like make sure nobody would vote you out. I'm not good at that.
You could do it with a few people, but there's always going to be a few that's just going to piss you off.
Yeah, and I'm not good at that. Great name for the podcast, dude. There we go. Stu never looked better. To be fair, Trishelle did vote for CT. And yeah, but I mean, they still stuck with each other in the end. Chef Stu will be better as a faithful. He won't be good as a traitor. Just to see if he could pull off being consistently deceptive the entire time. Zach would be great at professionals, though.
Should we apply to be on the show? Should we send in an application together?
Yes.
Let's
Larsa went in with her boyfriend.
That'd be amazing.
Dog Mom Laura says, follow Stu. He's great. Yes, you're on YouTube, right?
I'm on YouTube. YouTube.
The
YouTube is on Her.media if you want to watch it. And then I'm on Spotify and whatever, the Apple and Instagram at Chef Stuart O'Keeffe. Question for you. Going back to Vanderpump, I think they need to put Sheena on Dancing with the Stars.
Yeah, let Sheena do Dancing with the Stars. Well, Ariana was just on Watch What Happens Live, and Andy asked her about that. Asked her about what she thought of Sheena's comment, kind of shading her. I think Sheena was just trying to be a little cheeky in saying, like, that Ariana started as her backup dancer, and it kind of maybe got edited a little out of context. But Ariana, I think, had a great answer of saying, like, I understand being happy for your friend, but also being sad for yourself about an opportunity that you really wanted. Yeah. But Ariana also made a good point of like, but like now that one person on our cast has made it on the show, that just like opens up the door for other people on our cast to now also be on the show. I think Sheena would be great on Dancing with the Stars. Yeah. I don't know if she'd win, but I think she'd be great on Dancing with the Stars.
Yeah. Fun fact, Bruno, who's one of the judges on that show, was my choreographer in Ireland when I did a movie called Ella Enchanted back in 1999. Isn't that weird?
Really?
Yeah. So crazy.
I
should never speak to him again.
Wrong. Ariana should never speak to him again because he's never been a gentleman but continues to victim blame her. That comment is mindless. Wow.
Okay, that's fine, but here's the thing. For the sake of the show and for them to continue shooting the show, they need to figure it out, because I just feel like if they're just never going to shoot together, that's going to get old really fast. Yeah. That's it. Do you want that paycheck or not?
Get it.
Mm-hmm.
All these shows are the same, a bunch of desperate backstabbing clowns, but that's what we love. What else would you watch? Are you excited to watch The Valley?
I am after speaking to you yesterday. I saw the trailer. It looks good. I like the other people in the cast. I don't know. I need to see it. You know what I mean? They seem a bit like, I know, kind of weird, but Kristen Doty I like, and Jax is always fun to watch. So
I'm gonna watch it. I haven't finished the first episode yet because I got the screeners, but I watched the first few minutes of episode 1 of the premiere, and I was like, I am very much a Kristen Doty. I am very Kristen. Oh man, sometimes you just can't help yourself, and your mouth just gets you into trouble.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I know too well.
All right, your new podcast is called Don't Let It Stew. It's available on all podcast platforms now. It's also available to watch on YouTube. I was just on it. The episode is out right now, so after this, you guys can go and catch Don't Let It Stew. I'm a guest today.
Yeah, and you can listen to him pronounce some Irish names because St. Patrick's Day is Sunday.
Yeah, I was terrible at that.
And we're hanging out Sunday. We're going to make it happen. We're going to have a few drinks, West Hollywood, the whole thing.
It'll be fun. All right. Well, Stu, thank you for joining. Where can people follow
Thank
you
you.
on the social medias? We know your
On
podcast.
social media at Chef Stuart O'Keeffe. Don't Let It Stew on Spotify and Apple. New episode airing now, streaming now, and I'll see you all soon.
Yeah, and you had Amy Phillips on last week,
Yes.
so that was available to listen to as well.
Sure. Yeah, it is. It was a good episode.
All right, guys, go follow Chef Stu. You can give me a follow at Just Plain Zach all over the internet. Follow the podcast at No Filter with Zach, and stay tuned. We stream live Monday through Thursday with bonus episodes on Fridays for members. If you're a member of the Zack Pack on YouTube, then get ready for a Thursday night live No Filter After Dark. Or if you're a member on Apple Podcasts, No Filter Plus, you can catch new bonus episodes every Friday. Tom Hallett from the Dumpster Dive podcast is on the podcast tomorrow on Thursday. We're going to be throwing it back to some old school reality TV shows. Jeff and I are going to be on the Dumpster Dive podcast as well. So stay tuned for that, because that's going to be exciting. I did Chef Stu's podcast, and then I was also on TK's Making Moves podcast. So be sure to check out TK. I'm putting out lots of content for you guys to go and support and consume. So go and support it all. Making Moves with TK. Don't Let It Stew with Chef Stu. Go support, listen, subscribe, leave all the 5 stars, and I will talk to you later, guys. Bye.